Okay, so I'm going to do a quick video here regarding TMG gears, and basically I want to share with you in a very brief summation of my, assessment so far. Don't get rid of gears based on the stat lines, the option lines. You can always reforge those later. Keep gears based on the skill lines, even if it's like a funky like PDEF bracer and the additional skill is increases attack by 5% for all allies or something, and you throw it on to pick a support. Throw it onto a support, not a priest. You want a high attack so that way you have good heals. But let's say you throw it on maybe Audi, in Xanadus or in Eclipse or something like that, right? And even though the PDEF bracer isn't really doing much to help his damage, who cares? He's not a DPS anyway, he's a support. So even if the damage type hitting against him is not even physical, the fact that he's giving all the allies 5% attack is huge, especially if you have 3 or 4 pieces of gear slinging that. So you can always reforge those option lines, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And I am just convinced that you should not be deleting or grinding any of this TMG gear that you get if the additional skill line is good in a support role. So obviously your DPS needs to be as optimized as humanly possible, as do your healers. But as far as supports like Audi, Vero, even Esker in Mountain, if you're not using him as a DPS but rather as a support, and your knights, etc. Well, your knights do need to be survivable. Like, they need to survive, but you can, like I said, the fact that you can reforge both of those option lines is amazing. I'm sad that I can't do like a 100, 200, 400, 800, 1200 ruby reforge on each line like you can in other gear sets, but just I'd rather being able to reforge both lines than use rubies. So, but I'm hoping that they'll introduce a ruby reforge as well, because obviously the 100 and 200, especially when the ruby reforge event comes along where it's half price, is totally worth it to do the 50, the 100, the 200, for sure, and then when there isn't a ruby reforge event, even the 100 and the 200 are still worth it. So all that being said, don't delete gears if the additional skill line is good, is really what I wanted to say. So that's just a brief little thing I wanted to say.